Happy Halloween.
Thank you, Jay. Just a reminder, this meeting is being recorded, and if you'd like to sign up for public comment, please do so via the chat.
All right. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Hey, hopefully you all have candy. I don't.
Jay, can you please upgrade? John Heiler is in the public side. Can you upgrade him for me?
All right. So the trustees of the Boston Public Library reaffirm our commitment to racial equity and to principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion more broadly. The library is formally committed to becoming an anti-racist organization in response to systemic racism, inequity, and injustice prevalent in our society. We acknowledge also that the Boston Public Library Central Library stands on land that was once a water-based ecosystem providing sustenance for the indigenous Massachusetts people, and it's a place which has long served as a site of meeting and exchange among nations. We are committed to land acknowledgements for all locations at which we operate. We reaffirm this commitment to set the context of our planning, deliberations, and public engagement will take place from the spirit of welcome and respect found in our motto, free to all. Good morning. Roll call, please.
I'm just going to read your last names. Arano Ortiz.
Yes.
Baal.
Here.
Heiler.
Muted.
Yes, he's muted. He's here. I do see him.
Wow,
Thank
everything was you guys didn't even have a video of me. That's so sad.
We see you now.
Thank you,
I
John.
know, now the Halloween begins.
Thank you. I know that Mr. Hawkins will be absent today. Leonard
Here.
and Rush.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. So can I get a motion for the approval of the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I'm not going to do roll call for the votes. I'm just going to ask that you do all in favor. They say yay. All opposed, say nay. And if there's any abstentions for any of the votes today.
All in favor? Yes.
Okay.
Any abstentions? Any nays? And it's approved.
Thank you.
Next slide. All right, so we have a couple of things. So we have recommendation for approval, and we also have request for delegation. So Emily, can you just walk us through to the delegation of the votes?
Yes, thank you, Evelyn. Good morning, trustees. As Evelyn said, we have a couple delegations that we're requesting for a meeting later this year. We're hoping that these can be delegated to the Finance and Audit Committee. The first is for the multifunction printer. So it's a $750,000 contract over 5 years. This is for the servicing and equipment for scanning, printing, photocopying across the system. One of the key components, it needs to integrate with Faro. So it's taking a little bit longer for us to test and analyze that, but we hope to have that in the next couple of weeks.
And then, Emily, quick question. Is this printer for only for staff use or general use?
It's both. So both patron use and behind the scenes.
Okay. And I'm guessing this is a really expensive printer if it's something like this.
You'll typically have at least one multifunction for the public and one multifunction for the staff at each location, plus additional ones where necessary. So, yeah.
Okay. So this is not only for Central, this is all locations.
Yes.
System-wide.
Got it.
And it's a 5-year contract, so the number would be spread over the 5-year period.
Okay.
If there's any questions, we do have Keith Gillette available as well.
All right. Any questions regarding the?
So it's a delegation by the full board to the Finance and Audit Committee to approve the selection once it's made. So you're doing an RFP now, is that?
We've done the RFP already, but we don't have the selection, the recommendation quite yet. So we're hoping we can have a special meeting later this year. It just won't be ready for the full board next week.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
And this is for both the printers and a maintenance contract, correct?
It's servicing and the equipment, correct?
Okay. Any other questions? Do we know sort of the range of the amount for the approval?
750,000 for the 5-year contract.
Got it. All right.
And I'm sorry, just one last thing. Whenever you do get to the approval process, it would just be helpful just to get a sense of like how many bids did we get, and just what the background is to the company.
Absolutely.
What the history is, have we worked with them before, etc.
Newspaper. So can I do them a lot, Pamela?
Sure. As
Okay.
long as no one's opposed to that, I'm fine with that.
All right, newspaper.
Sure. So the newspaper digitization project, this one is a 3-year contract, not to exceed 500,000. This is the next phase. So you probably recall we've had some different phases of the same project. It's the next step to that. The bids for this particular contract aren't due until mid-November. We're asking this also be delegated to a meeting to finance and audit later this year, simply so that we don't have to wait to start the work until the next full board meeting at the beginning of the year.
Okay, any questions on that one? We're familiar with this one. Okay, so I'm gonna take a vote on these two for request for delegation. So can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any abstentions? Any nays? Okay. Contracts.
Yep, those delegations have been approved.
The next two, Emily, these are recommendation for approval. So we would approve and then move to the board for the full approval, correct?
So the first one is for the Company One contract. This is a 3-year partnership for $250,000. Some of you may recall, I think over the past 5-10 years, we've had 2 or 3 full productions here at the Central Library. This is a 3-year contract for programming, productions, and community engagement across the whole system. Any questions on that one?
What are the productions they've done already for?
I should have written down the titles.
Michael is on if you need any questions.
Michael Colbert is here as well. I apologize. They posted them specifically here at the Central Library. It's a pay what you want platform. So there is no minimum ticket cost. And they typically do, I think it's around 20 actual shows for each production. There's school groups that come in, and then the public is welcome to come in the evenings as well. This would be a longer 3-year partnership that we'd be hosting with them.
And good morning, Evelyn. I can let you know the first one we did was called Peerless. The second one we did was called Wolf Play. And the last one we did, it had a very long title, Black Superhero Mama, something like that. And yeah, this is actually our partnership in a 3-way partnership with the city's Office of Arts and Culture. So this would be 3 major productions in the next 3 years in the community engagement, as Emily said.
Michael, could you add just a little on the branch tie-in as well, even though the production happens at Central?
Sure. They for the last play, and they plan to continue this for the next 3, the main production is at Central, but then they do supporting programming related to that production in many of the branches. They try to get to all the different neighborhoods. That's been very successful last year. It's a variety of things, everything from acting workshop for kids to exploring some of the themes that are in the play production that they are doing each year. And then they also do a few other ancillary programs throughout the year.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Michael.
Sure.
And is Company One the same group that we've worked with in the past? This is like continuation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and as Michael, can you talk about those pros? For what I've heard, they have been very successful and well attended.
Yes, it's it's all part of their Art for Public Good program. So by removing barriers so anyone can come see art, as Emily said, it's a pay what you want with no minimum. So you can come for free. Any people who do want to buy tickets do that separately with Company One. They don't do that through the library because all of our programming is free. They've been very successful. It's about a 50% split between the number of people who come to attend these shows that have never come to the library before, and about half of the people have never seen a Company One show and I just happen to be patrons of the library and they decide to check it out. So that's been very great. And they also have a very wide reach for a very diverse audience. They reach a lot of people of color. They reach a lot of younger people. So it's a nice demographic to attract to the library.
Thank you. Any more questions? Nope. Okay,
Love it. I think it's great.
thank you, Michael. Loading dock, Emily.
Loading dock repair contract. So this is for some necessary structural repair work that's needed here at the Central Library loading dock. So we're asking for the recommendation of structural preservation systems for a contract in the amount of $425,500.
All right. Question for you, David. How come this is not part of critical repairs that the board approves?
So we will be using some of the critical repair funds to cover this. That money was moved as a separate fund into the operating budget by the city several years ago. So it's no longer a standalone fund. And we are checking in the meantime with city budget office with Emily and Josh are to identify if there are any additional funds that can be tapped to cover the balance. But regardless, regardless of the underlying funding source, this is repair work that is critical, and we will need the approval of this contract for that. But maybe Emily or Josh already have an update on the underlying funding sources that we're using. Short of that, we would also look to use either state aid or enterprise funds to cover the balance.
Okay. All right, any questions about loading dock repairs? All right, strategic planning consultant.
So this, as you know, the library is looking forward to engaging in a strategic planning process in the near future. So after receiving a number of impressive bids, proposals, we are suggesting the recommendation of Gensler for a contract in the amount of $200,000. And my colleague, the Chief of Staff, Sarah Zafiris, is on the line as well for any questions.
Can you explain the process in which this, went through?
Sure, I can do that. Good morning, trustees. This is Sarah. So we issued the RFP in the summer. We got 12 responses, which we were thrilled about. It was a really robust response. We had a staff committee score those written responses. Of the 12, we identified 5 as finalists, and then we had another committee made up of trustees and staff interview each of the 5 finalists. And Gensler was the highest scoring proposal from that process.
I would note that the trustees strategic planning committee led by Christian Westra and Jose Masso was the partner in the entirety of the selection process, with Sarah and Lisa Pollock really leading the staff and internal process. So what you see today is the result of that collaborative effort.
Okay.
And do we know how long the contract will be for, or the engagement?
We're thinking like 9 to 12 months, most likely.
And then what are the expected deliverables?
So they're going to deliver us, sorry, I should have had that in front of me. They'll deliver us a strategic plan, which will cover the next at least 5 years, maybe 5 to 10 years. It includes like a communications audit to think about our messaging and, you know, who we reach and how we reach it. But the big picture is really updating the our Compass strategic plan, which is more than 10 years old now, to help us focus on, you know, what we can prioritize and what we can do best. David, I don't know if you want to add to that.
Yeah, I think, you know, the Compass Plan was published in 2012 after a very long and very involved community process and staff process. And then we have been basically living with a staff developed strategic roadmap for the interim period of 2019 to 2024. And so this is really our first time since the 2009 2012 period to really look end to end at mission, vision, values, and our initiatives that will really take us forward. I think many of us are looking forward to this as being as much about process as about the end deliverables. Gensler, it's worth noting, partnered with Margaret Sullivan Studios, who is a library planning expert, and their combined references include work with many of the large urban public libraries across the US. So it's a very interesting partnership that we think will be of great value to the library because it takes the best of the broadest sense of design process, Gensler being as much an architecture firm as a strategic planning firm, but with library planning expertise as well. So I do think, you know, while in some cases specificity will require us to have a 3 to 5 year outlook, in terms of our longer term goals, it really does have to last for a 5 to 10 year outlook. And many things that we do in either the capital planning or collections arena tend to have a much longer tail than a shorter term initiative. So it's really the first opportunity really in over 10 years and with the current leadership of the library to craft a strategic plan that will guide us for the next several years.
Any more questions? No?
Very exciting.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, so if there are more questions, I'm gonna approve these as a lot, and these are going in front of the full trustee board for full approval. So any yes? All yeses, please.
Can you make a motion?
Oh, motion, sorry, skipping the process, I'm sorry. I need more coffee. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Seconded?
I'll second. I wasn't sure.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays?
Thank you.
Any abstentions?
None. Full approved to go to the full board.
I do want to note on thresholds that the strategic planning consultant contract is at 200,000, which technically is within the purview of this committee to give full approval. But we felt that because it is the strategic planning consultant, it seemed more appropriate to refer that for a confirming vote to the full board as well.
Yes, agreed. All right, we're done with the contracts. Emily, quick report on gift giving.
Thank you. You can see here we have a great breakdown of some significant gifts that were given during FY23. I did want to call out that all of these groups really gave a significantly higher number than they did in FY22. The fund number, I think it's about $600,000 more than the year before. The associates is about $250,000 more. And the branch and citywide fund groups as well all gave a significantly higher number. Running through this quickly, the fund donations, a number of that went to young adult workforce, teen programming, and community history and digitization projects. For the associates, the founding research collection, and a number of key special collection staff as well. And the branches too are always funding the Museum Pass program. That's a really popular offering for the patrons here. Any questions on this?
No, I want to thank all our supporters. for the generous donations. We greatly appreciate it. I know that especially the tickets, they're like super, super popular. So thank you to all our donors. And then I think we have any new business, correct? Is that what we have next?
We do not have any new business, correct?
Yeah. Any new business? Anybody wants to bring anything up? I do have new business. You don't get home free. So I'll be absent during I'm gonna be away for the board meeting, so I need a volunteer to please represent this committee.
I actually have John Hyler, who is the most senior. As long as he is attending next week's, I have him down on the agenda.
There you go, John. You have been.
Wow. Hello? Yes, I'll be
You heard his
prepared.
name.
Yes.
Which is funny because I was going to recommend John Hyler.
Oh, that's it. Mike, that's you got some real confidence in you to do that. Thanks.
All right.
So along with John, we have Emily, who will also give the report for finance and audit.
All right.
Great.
All right. We don't have anybody signed up for public comment, it seems.
We do not.
All right. With that, we adjourn.
Pam, good job. Getting everything
Thank you.
together.
Thank you all.
Everyone, as
We'll see you
always,
next Tuesday at Rosendale, 3 p.m.
Tuesday in
Rosendale
Rosendale.
branch.
Roger that.
All
See
right.
ya. Thank
My
you.
district.
Cheers.
Yes.
Bye-bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.